Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. When it comes to your own around-the-house repairs, your own do-it-yourself projects, you can get your materials and tools from the same team that has supplied East Tennessee's biggest contractors for 100 years. A.G. Hines Company, downtown Knoxville, a century, literally, 1920 to 2020. They've seen it all. A.G. Hines Company can help you with your project better than anybody else can. I promise you that. Give them a shout. Visit them online, A.G. Hines Company. All right. Take a look at Tennessee's schedule right there. You already see there have been some game times, some kickoff times announced for 3 of the games. Our all-VFL panel here, I want to ask you, UT normally plays 9 Power 5 teams. This year, 9 Power 5 teams and 3 duds over the course of 13 weeks. Okay. Now you're going to have 10 SEC games over the course of 11 weeks. All right, now I could look at that a couple of different ways. It's 10 games instead of 12. Okay. On the other hand, it's all SEC. So I want to know, you guys, your collective years at UT playing non-Power 5 versus Power 5 and SEC games, is this going to be a difference physically for Tennessee's athletes?
Well, probably physically, especially these D linemen, O linemen outside of me right now. But, personally, I always like playing against good competition. I like playing against good competition because I didn't have to hear about all week. You guys been out lose to so-and-so. What if y'all lose to so-and-so? I ain't got to hear that. I got to hear you playing against these guys, you know what to bring, you bring your A game. And our guys, we played, we just stepped up when it came to the competition, and we played to the level we played against and was ready to win every time we stepped on the field, no matter who it was. The guys I do feel upset about or feel bad for are guys like the walk-ons who make us better during the week, who may not get a chance to dress.
I think it's going to be, I don't think the games are going to matter as much, and so playing Charlotte or playing someone else, it's about how many reps you get. If you play 100 reps against Charlotte, you're going to be dog tired for the next week's game. But I think what this schedule is going to cause a problem on is when you're practicing. And because when you're practicing and preparing for Kentucky for another SEC opponent, your coaches are going a little harder. You're spending more time on one-on-one drills, more time on run, because you got to be more physical because the name's in it. And so when you have to practice for Kentucky, for Georgia every single week, you're going to get a lot of banging and bruising in practice more than I think the game itself.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a huge physical toll on the body. I mean, especially as a lineman, you're in there and you're battling against guys that may be playing on Sunday, right? So you're back and forth week after week after week. Usually in the season, you get an open day and then you get somebody that you should just whip. Absolutely. So there's that physical toll, but there's also that mental toll, right? So you are dialed in for South Carolina. As soon as that game ends, boom, you're dialed in for Missouri. So there's really no mental break as well because you're turning right next to the next one. And it's harder on the coaches because coaches sometimes, they got an easier game. They got 2 weeks to prepare for the next. So they'll start, you are from one film to the next film to the next film. It is going to be mentally taxing as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from a fan standpoint, from a television standpoint, I love it.
Yeah.
It's more like the NFL.
Yeah.
Whereas normally, as you point out, you're able to look at it and go, oh, wow, you get these 3 good games, and you get this dunce. And then you got 2 good games, and then you got an open date. This year, it's pretty much one after another where you get the one open date, but every week it's someone that is on your level.
Yeah. The one thing I think will be interesting is because of the restrictions of fans, home field advantage isn't as right. So I'm going to Georgia, like, oh, geez, you circle that one now. It's like, well, it's not as difficult. And it's later in the season. It's not going to be as hot, right? So there's a little bit of give and take there, but still the mental and physical toll is difficult.
The curious thing I'm going to be is the development next year for those players. Eric Gray really shined in one of those non-conference games. Came on, had a great end of the season. So who are we not going to get to see this year that could hurt us for
That's a great point.
For next year or 2 years from there?
Because in a way, most of those, now it didn't happen last year when you're losing to Georgia State, but typically, odds are those are going to be like exhibition games for you, and you are going to get to play your depth and get younger guys in there, and you're not going to get. That's a great point. I hadn't considered that. All right, when we come back, Vols have come a long way in a year. You realize we are 1 year away exactly from the in-between point, the Georgia State loss, the BYU loss. That's where we are 1 year ago today. They've come a long way. Where is this program, though? What's the overall position of this rebuild? We'll discuss that with the VFLs next. Come on back on the Sports World.